This evening, let's explore circumstantial love and meditate. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is brought to you by the good-hearted folks who help support this channel on Patreon. This evening, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two, but first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as Rey on Ahch-To under the guidance of Luke Skywalker, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Good news! If at any point during this evening's live stream you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. Here's what I'm looking for. When we practice mantra meditation, we call it mantra meditation because it sounds good, but a more accurate description would be mantra contemplation. We practice four contemplations of love and four contemplations of letting go. The fourth contemplation of love pertains to the circumstantial. You see, in the Satipatthana Sutta, the Buddha taught that there are four enlightenment factors. And in Buddhist and one of the Dalai Lama's late teachers, Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, used to say that Tantra is based on sutra with which it must never contradict. Therefore, in Highest Yoga Tantra, we bring the four bases of mindfulness first into the path of love and then into the path of letting go. So, in this context, the fourth base of mindfulness is the circumstantial. Not the mental, not the interpersonal, not the physical, the circumstantial. For instance, right now I'm in an apartment in a suburb. I've got blue skies and trees, and there are mountains that way, there are mountains that way, and there are mountains that way. If you go far enough that way, there's more mountains that way. So that's my circumstance. Now, as we mentioned previously, hey, Patricia Louise Snodgrass McGillicuddy, oh, to you, birthday girl, I send a great big psychic hug. Now, there's this myth that if we are truly spiritual, we won't be affected by anything. But that's malarkey. After all, the Buddha and Lao Tzu and the Christ all taught about interdependence, that we are affected by things and that we are affected by things. Love does not occur in a vacuum. We evolved for empathy so that other people's pain is felt like our pain and other people's joys are felt like our joys. So as we look at our circumstances, we want our circumstances to be safe, and we want our circumstances to be fortunate. This is a primary survival drive. So, as people who are traversing the path of enlightenment, we take our self-centered desire for safety and good fortune, and we share it with all beings everywhere, real or imagined, thus transforming selfishness into universal love, which of course is deliciously ironic. We're going to use a rather lengthy intention. Let's chant it. Well, we're not going to chant it right now. Chanting occurs in a few minutes, but allow me to read it to you. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have what? The safety, a good fortune, or boon. Now, lots is a monosyllabic synonym for circumstance, and boon is a monosyllabic synonym for good fortune. Why do we muck about with these cryptic synonyms? Because when we perform silent contemplations, brevity is the soul of sustainability. It's much easier to meditate on 6 syllables or 3 syllables per breath or 4 syllables per breath than 27. I know, I've tried. It's not pretty. You turn red, you tip over, you wiggle funny, you frighten the dog, and annoy the cat. Nobody wants that. So let's continue. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the safety, good fortune, or boon, as a Buddha's real or imagined, paradise, pure land, or vati. So let us beware of certitude. The certitude that is convinced that Buddhas have paradises, as well as the certitude that is convinced that there are no Buddhas and there are no paradises. Let us free ourselves from the rigidity of certitude and relax into the flexibility of ignorance. I don't know everything about everything. Admitting that to myself is freeing. It's liberated. Try it. You'll like it. So after chanting this and during the practice, we'll then bring this idea into our mantra recitation. During our exhalation, while we are chanting this 10-syllable mantra, we can physically relax as best we can. Eventually we will run out of air, and we will be faced with a choice. Do I breathe in, or do I turn blue, tip over, wiggle funny, and annoy the cat? You'll probably choose to breathe in. So when you're breathing in anyway, we might as well recite, silently and mentally, recite the 6-syllable synopsis of the intention read on the previous page. Vati boon for all lots. Now, if you're super clever, you might say, why deal with metaphor? Why dally about with figurative speech? In a word, evolution. Go back in time, before there was Homo sapiens sapien, before there were anthropods, before there were mammals, before there was life on the surface, when life was still under the sea. Cue the Disney song. When life was still under the sea, our distant ancestors had sensory apparatus. At one point, they began recalling previous sensory experiences, and then they began anticipating future sensory experiences. It therefore makes sense that the armature upon which our 3-pound supercomputer is draped Oh, there's a wonderful word. What's that wonderful word? When it comes to me, I will share it with you. Simply put, our minds evolved to think, here it is, symbolically. Perceptions became memories, perceptions became fantasies, and eventually that translated into communication. First nonverbal, then verbal, then written. Now, we could be literal minded and communicate in the manner of Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. But if we really want ourselves to be transformed deeply and rapidly and easily by the Buddha's teachings of love and letting go, then we have to be vulnerable to figurative communication. After chanting the elaborate intention and blending the concise intention with the mantra, we then divide the concise intention between our inhalation and our exhalation. And doing this 3 or 4 times really helps. I woke up this morning. There was a song from the late 60s whose chorus sang, "I had too much to dream last night." That was me. I woke up about 3:30, 3:15, just really excited to explain things to people who were not there. Just people who were left over from my previous dream. I knew that was not sustainable. I knew I had to return to bed. So I sat down, started meditating. My mind was, it was still just really, really amped up to wax eloquent. So rather than fight that energy, I harnessed that energy and began playing with this contemplation and its 7 siblings. Then I returned to meditation, and pretty soon was ready for bed. Again, bed part 2, the sequel. Bed with a vengeance. That doesn't sound right. That sounds like the name of an adult movie. So, now that I'm blushing, let's turn our attention to tonight's actual practice text. Welcome to the latest iteration of the Easy Tantra of green heroin. Green heroin sounds like an illicit substance until we look at the artwork and remember, oh, green heroin is the archetype that we play with. Let's begin by chanting with the intention of exercising the neural pathways responsible for empathy and enthusiasm. May I have a copy of this text? Yes, you may. There is a possibility I'll forget. If that happens, remind me. If I forget, it doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means I'm super fatigued. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. I misspoke previously. Instead of having 12 contemplations or sets of contemplations, we're going to have yes, 12, not 8, 12. Okay. Ooh, sleep deprivation is not pretty. So now we come to this evening's first set of 4 contemplations, wherein we shall explore the dance of impermanence and interdependence. Let's chant. So this is all rhetorical questions. These 4 sets of contemplations are each rhetorical questions. What could it look like if all circumstances are lost blissfully and impermanently melted into rainbow light, that interdependently absorbed into this body or form? And now we're going to wash wool in the hot cycle and see what happens. Oh, look, it shrunk. What could it feel like if all forms or bodies blissfully and impermanently melted into rainbow light, that interdependently absorbed into this interpersonal communication or speech? What could it sound like if all interpersonal speech was fully and impermanently melted into rainbow light, that interdependently absorbed into this mind? What could it be like if all minds blissfully and impermanently melted into rainbow light, that interdependently absorbed into our vast empty void? We come now to the first of 2 sets of silent meditation. This awareness and letting goes, mindfulness and meditation, which serves as an antidote to clinging, is known by many names, such as trekcho or slice through. Now let's be clever for a second. This is what font? That's 26. So let's make this... Okay. Inhalation, exhalation. Patricia, when at last you get your hands on a PDF of tonight's practice, in the passages after the after the dedication of merit, there is a bowing practice which combines refuge in bodhicitta with a tantric contemplation of invocation, the classic, concise bow to Tata, the translator's praise to Tata, the 21 homages to Tata, the conclusion of that, and Atish's concise translation of the 10-syllable mantra, or at least my adaptation thereof. Together, they create a set, or 27 sets. One could do 1 bow per set, or 4 bows per set. One could work up, just do what you can, until eventually one is blending bowing and the 21 homages and collecting 108 bows daily. That never occurred to me until I had the very good fortune of reading a Green Tata Sadhana composed by the late Dojam Jigdral Rinpoche, in which he mentioned the benefit, that doing so was beneficial. There were many translations of the 21 Taras. The one featured in this practice text is less Gaelic and more Nyingma and Sakya. And so it has a subtly different flavor. I also had the very good fortune to stumble upon a subtle, concise commentary of the 21 Taras by the late Sakya Pandita, and I look forward to sharing that possibly next week. If you've just joined, welcome aboard. If at any point, any time at all during this live stream, you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them to your life, simply type that question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. On your right-hand side of the screen. And it concludes with an English translation of Adur Rinpoche's 5-point or 6-point, actually 7-point Green Tata Wind Horse. I get a little bit confused with demonstrative pronouns. By this, do you mean the wind horse? If that is what you mean, then whether we're talking about bowing or recitation, listen to your body. If you push yourself too hard, all you'll do is develop an aversion. So listen to your body. And in time, you'll find your endurance grows. But don't make the mistakes that I've made in the past of ignoring my challenges and turning a deaf ear to my body's requests for rest. Listen to your body. It's on your side. But long story short, you can practice this text in its entirety or any component thereof as many or as few times as you wish. The late Tibetan monk who composed the 37 acts of a bodhisattva recited the 21 taras 21 times every day. He had a remarkably easy practice, simple practice. He just did Chenrezig sadhana, green tara praises. He did 100 bows every day and 100 mantras every day at least. So he had a very simple practice. Atisha, known also as Sri Jana Dipankara, was convinced that enlightenment could be accomplished in one life with a simple practice. Not even using highest yoga tantra, just using action tantra. Lama Zopa taught that Atisha's sadhanas that he brought with him to Tibet to disseminate were just fourfold. Shakyamuni, Avalokiteshvara, Shyamatara, and Achala. Now we come to our final 8 contemplations of love and letting go, which are known by many names, including Tokal or leap over. We begin with love. May all minds of all beings know be as wise and peaceful as the mind of a Buddha of laws symbolized by a one-syllable seed bija or tikle drop mantra. Om Tade Dade Dure Swaha. 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 May all relationships of all beings now be as loving and joyful as a real or imagined Buddhist communication symbolized by this 10-syllable mantra. Om Tade Dade Dure Swaha. 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 May all bodies take 2. May all bodies of all beings know and enjoy the beautiful health depicted in Buddhist thought of the blissful body of a Yidama flora and archetype of enlightenment. Om Tade Dade Dure Swaha. 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 Dhare du dhare du re 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 swaha. May all circumstances or loss of all beings to have the safety, good fortune, or boon, as a mood is real or imagined, paradise, perlando, vanti. Dhare du dhare du re swaha. 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 Excuse me. Oh, look at that. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we notice during our previous inhalation could feel as no graspable as a vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a beautiful cloudless morn, which although compelling to the eye is not graspable to the hand. How is it that as we inhale all circumstances or lots could appear quite vivid, yet as we relax into our exhalation they could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined paradise or vati of light? Tare Dare Dure Swaha Om 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 Tare Dare Dure Swaha How is it that as we inhale, all bodies or forms could feel quite sensual? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined archetype or item of light. Om Tare Dare Dure Swaha 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 Om Dare 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 Dare Dure Swaha How is it that as we inhale, the interpersonal experience of communication or speech could be quite resounding? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, it could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined mantra of light. Om Dare Dare Dure Swaha 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 How is it that as we inhale we could perceive our mind's functions quite clearly? Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined seeds at a bottom of light. Tariru dariru re swaha, tariru dariru re swaha, tariru dariru re swaha, tariru dariru re swaha. Dariru dariru re swaha, dariru dariru re swaha, dariru dariru re swaha, dariru dariru re swaha. Tariru dariru re swaha, tariru dariru re swaha, tariru dariru re swaha, tariru dariru re swaha. Dariru dariru re swaha, dariru dariru re swaha, dariru dariru re swaha, dariru dariru re swaha. We come now to our second and final silent meditation of the session. This bliss in letting go could serve as an antidote to craving and is known by many names such as tikle or drop. May all my speech forms and lots be as peaceful, joyful, healthy, and fortunate as green heroines, real or imagined, suitable mantra archetype in paradise. May all beings like green heroine master the Eightfold Path as well as liberate others. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness flow spontaneous and uncontrived. At the very end of each being's life may we take immediate and auspicious rebirth. Master the Buddha's path and then help all others do likewise. May everyone be free from suffering, may everyone be happy. May no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. If you feel that I have earned it, you could type something in the chat window. You could give this live stream a thumbs up. Like this. Well, digitally. You could share this with a friend. You could even help support this channel on Patreon. In approximately 10 hours and 42 minutes, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early morning meditation. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way. Now, if you want to hang out a little bit longer and do some extra stuff, you're welcome to join me, but none of it is mandatory. There it is. Okay. May lights radiate from the suitable home at my heart, inviting Shamatara surrounded by the assembly of Lamas, Yudams, Gandhars, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and Dharmapalas. Gods and demigods bow their crowns at your lotus feet. O liberated from all misfortune, to you, Mother Tara, I bow down. Homage to the noble Lady Tara. Homage to Tara, quick one heroine, whose eyes flash like lightning. Born from the opening corolla of the lotus face of the Lord of the Triple World. Homage, Mother, whose face is filled with the light of an array of 100 full autumn moons, shining with the brilliant open light of the hosts of 1,000 stars. Homage, Mother, golden one, her hand adorned with a blue lotus, whose field of practice is generosity, non-violence, zeal, acceptance, mindfulness, and meditation. Homage, crown of Tathagatas, her actions endlessly victorious, venerated by the sons of the Conqueror who have attained every single perfection. Homage, Mother, filling our region's sky and the realm of desire, with the sounds of Tutara and Hung, trampling the 7 worlds with her feet, able to summon all before her. Homage, Mother, worshipped by Indra, Agni, Brahma, by the Marut and different mighty ones, honored by hosts of spirits, Yakshas, Gandharvas, and the walking dead. Homage, Mother, destroying the magical devices of outsiders with the sounds of Triumphing, trampling with her right leg drawn in and her left extended, ablaze with a raging wildfire. Homage to the terrible lady who annihilates afflictions of warriors of Mara, slaying all the enemies with a frown of wrath on her lotus-like beautiful face. Homage mother, her hands adorned with her... Take two. Homage mother, her hand adorns her heart, and a mudra that symbolizes the three jewels. Adorned with a universal will, she radiates turbulent light. Homage joyful mother, whose brilliant crown spreads out gardens of light, subjugating the afflictions of Mara and the world with a mocking, laughing to Tara. Homage mother, able to summon before her all the protectors of the earth. Moving her frowning brow, she saves all from poverty with a sound of hung. Homage mother, whose crown is a crescent moon, blazing with all her ornaments, ever shining with the brilliant light of Amitabha in her braided hair. Homage mother, residing amidst the garden that blazes like the fire at the end of the world era, right leg extended and left drawn in, annihilating hosts of enemies. Homage mother, who hits the earth with the palm of her hand and palms on it with her feet. Frowning wrathfully, she shatters the seven underworlds by the sound of hum. Homage mother, blissful virtue is calm, whose field of activity is peaceful nirvana. Oh my goodness, this Zafu. Homage mother, blissful virtue is calm, whose field of activity is peaceful nirvana. Endowed with the true perfection of so high an omen, perfect union, destroying great evils. Homage mother, encompassed by joy, who shatters the bodies of enemies. Savioress manifesting from the awareness of whom, displaying the sounds of the ten syllable mantra. Homage Shuri, stomping her feet, whose seed appears in the form of Hung, shaking Mount Meru, Mandara, Bindu, Chal, and the triple world. Homage mother, holding the rabbit-marked moon, which is like a heavenly lake, dispelling all poison with the sound of paean, the twice-spoken Tara. Homage mother, searched by the ruler of the hosts of gods, by the gods and kinnaras, dispelling conflicts and bad dreams with her armor of joy and splendor. Homage mother, whose two eyes are like the sun and full moon, shining with brilliant light, who dispels deadly diseases with two Tara and twice a Tadhara. Homage mother, endowed with the power to pacify by the display of the three natural states, destroying the host of evil spirits, yakshas, and the walking dead, to a most excellent mother. This is the praise with the root mantra, and these are the 21 homages. Om Amashu, the noble lady, Tara, Amashu, Tara, quick one heroine. With two Tara, you are the one who banishes all fear. With Turi, the liberator, who bestows all benefits, and with Soha, may it be so. Ah. What would happen if I hit this button and tried to move the word all? That would happen. Let's make this lowercase. That sometimes does the trick. Okay. O Queen of Space, Savior of all beings, perfectly pure essence of wind that pervades all. You give birth to all worlds and cause them to flourish. Noble Lady Tara, I pay homage to you. Lady whose face gleams as white as the autumn moon by pacifying all adversity and affliction, and spontaneously bringing favorable conditions and fulfilling wishes. Generate the wind horse of dissolving the 8 dangers into space. Lady who shines as brightly as the golden sun by eliminating all decadence and poverty, and increasing lifespan, merit, wealth, and renown. Generate the wind horse of expanding prosperity and fortune. Lady who blazes with the luster of red rubies by dispelling all dependency and misfortune, and bringing the whole apparent world under my control. Generate the wind horse of magnetizing the triple world. Lady who sparkles with blue sapphire brilliance by repelling all enemies, obstacles, and harm, and granting total victory over all danger and adversity. Generate the wind horse of overpowering demonic horns. Lady who beams with emerald green light by pacifying all unwanted circumstances, and accomplishing all aims with auspicious glory. Generate the wind horse of acting on a space-like scale. Om ye dharma hetu prabhava hetunte shantata gato hyavatat te shansayo nirodha evam vadi mahashramana swaha. And now for the real closing. If you feel that I've earned it, you could type something in the chat window, you could give this live stream a thumbs up, you could share it with a friend, you could even help support this channel on Patreon. In approximately 10.5 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early morning meditation. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.